The over 500 million rand Johannesburg forensic pathology lab remains incomplete. This is 4 years past the deadline for its completion, set to be the biggest of its kind in the whole continent. When completed, the state-of-the-art facility is meant to assist the South African Police Service with a DNA backlog crisis. For more on this now and the reasons for the delay, we're joined by the Gauteng Department of Infrastructure's spokesperson, Victor Moreriane. Victor, good morning to you, and thank you for your time. 4 years that this project missed its deadline for its completion. Why is that?
Good morning, Folly. As you have already stated, this is a state-of-the-art multi-use facility that we are implementing on behalf of the Gauteng Department of Health. This project is huge, is one of its kind, and it's one of the biggest projects that we are implementing as the Gauteng provincial government. And therefore, when we implement projects of this magnitude, we always make sure that we are thorough in terms of how we implement, and our schedules are thorough and all those type of things. So in terms of our implementation model, we have two work streams that usually implement this type of projects. The first element would be your professional consultants, who are responsible for overseeing and also coordinating various construction activities on site. And the second component is a contractor who is obviously on site implementing the project with the builders, with the electrical engineers, the mechanical engineers, and all professionals that work on site. So you should understand that a project of this magnitude as well, you have many professionals that are working, doing a variety of activities at the same time.
Yeah.
So in this case, we had a problem of poor performance that we experienced with the professional consultants, and we had to terminate them.
So poor performance on the part of consultants, and is that what you are essentially blaming for the delays? And if that's the case, were these consultants still paid?
So what has been happening was that the project was supposed to have been completed by the end of November 2019, and there were requests for extensions, several requests for extensions which were granted, but those extensions were requested by the contractor, because I also need to indicate that the contractor is doing a fantastic job. We're very pleased with the work that the contractor has been doing. And when we started analyzing, it was very clear to us that the contractor is doing a good job, but the problem was with the professional consultants. And that is where the problem was. So that is the biggest problem that we've been dealing with ever since we started this project.
Yeah, well, I'm going to persist on that question, Victor, because it's the one that you have not answered. The contractor, yes, he's doing a good job and has been doing a good job. The people who clearly are a problem here, it's the consultants. When you say consultants, who are we talking about here, and what is their contribution, or should we say they are the stumbling block to the completion of this very important project? And again, I ask the question, were they paid still? Because it's 3 deadlines that have been missed. November 2019, that was moved to May 2022, and then the latest, at least that this project was meant to be completed by, it was January 2023. That's the month we're in now, and I doubt that you're going to tell me it is going to be completed at the end of January.
The consultants were terminated in 2022, and they were paid until the period they were terminated. for the work done. Obviously, they paid for the work done. But I also must indicate that we have also started a legal process to penalize them, because there were a number of discrepancies on site that we also found out. So our legal division is actually in the process of taking action to penalize the consultants.
This is becoming messy, Victor, because they were paid. Are you able to tell us at least how much they were paid?
They were paid for work done until 2020, but I also need to indicate that we have since then appointed a new team of consultants. Last year in November, the new team is on site. They have already submitted a building schedule, and the project is going to be completed and handed over on the 30th of June this year. And we are quite sure that we will be ready to hand over the project by that time.
So they were paid, the consultants who simply did not meet deadlines, yet they were paid. You can't tell us how much they were paid. And now you are going to embark on a process to chase them, to repay some of the monies because of shoddy workmanship, I take it. Is that what you say?
What I'm saying is that they were paid for work done until the contract was terminated. So whatever they were paid was for work done. But we have realized that there were a number of discrepancies, and therefore we want to penalize for those discrepancies and claw back some of the payment that has already been paid that we think that was not supposed to have been paid.
How much money is supposed to be clawed back?
For now, we don't have a bulk figure, but there is an amount, but we really don't have it. We are not at a stage where we can be in a position to tell you exactly how much it is.
Victor, as I mentioned to you, the DNA backlog in the entire country, that is a problem that the police minister has even gone to Parliament to answer for, because this, just based on this article I'm looking at, first of all, they say backlog, DNA backlog is quote-unquote quite substantial. And when you start doing the work of actually trying to analyze the DNA, this could take up to 6 months to a year. There are families who are waiting for their loved ones' remains perhaps to be processed in this manner. Do you understand the amount of agony that those families are going through? Because finally, what they want ultimately is closure. That is what is standing between them and the completion of this project.
The service delivery implication of these delays is quite huge, and we understand that, because this facility, it's a multi-purpose use type of a facility. It's also an academic facility. It's going to be used by the medical professionals as well as students. So even beyond pathology services, it is going to actually help the community of Gauteng in many other areas. And therefore, this delay it's a setback for us. And I just want to make something very clear. Usually terminations are the last options. We had to terminate because we had to de-risk this project, because it was very clear that if we do not terminate and take drastic action, we were going to put our communities into further problems. And that was the only alternative that we had to do. Usually under different circumstances, we try and negotiate and try to reach settlements with consultants and those type of things. But in this case, because of what you're talking about the enormity and the seriousness of this particular facility, we had to take drastic action. That is why we terminated.
Final question to you, sir, and it's on the very issue of drastic action. or question of drastic action that you talk about. I'll tell you what drastic action looks like in my eyes based on what we have reported extensively when it comes to companies that work with government but simply do not deliver on the job. It is that you blacklist not only the entity but its directors so that they never get to work with government again. They never get a contract with government. Is that the kind of drastic action you are talking about? Because the consequences here are massive for members of the public.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about as well, because remember the public service is also taking a decision to blacklist. So our legal department is taking that route as well. So it's a route that looks at how do we penalize, but how do we also make sure that all our actions are aligned in terms of making sure that this type of contractors and service providers are really taking, we take drastic action that makes a huge impact so that we as the public service can be able to understand who is the best and who are those that are not the best in terms of service delivery.
All right. Victor Moreriane. He is the spokesperson for the Infrastructure Department here in Gauteng. I wonder if you're satisfied with the responses we got from Victor. All right.